Ladies, let me break this down for you. A man's sexual desire, what truly arouses him deep down, is so much more than just what his eyes can see. Yeah, men are visual, no question about it. That's biological, natural, and real. But if you think that's the only thing that gets him going, you're missing a whole layer of what it means to actually connect with a man. Arousal for a man isn't just about what's on the outside. What pulls him in, what keeps him coming back, what makes him crave you when you're not even around, that's energy. That's attitude. That's emotional stimulation. That's presence. You can't fake that. When a woman walks into a room with confidence, like she knows exactly who she is and she's not trying to prove it to anybody, that does something to a man. Confidence is magnetic. A woman who holds her head high, who doesn't shrink herself just to be liked, who doesn't chase but attracts, is a woman who instantly triggers desire in a man's mind. And it's not just about being loud or bold. It's about certainty. It's about that silent strength, the kind that says, I'm good with or without you. But if you're lucky, you get to be part of my world. That kind of self-assurance makes a man stop and pay attention. It makes him want to earn his spot in your life, and that feeling of earning is part of what drives his desire. A man wants to feel like he won something valuable, not something easy, not something handed to him. He wants to chase. Not because you're playing games, but because you know your worth. And you know what else arouses a man deeply? When he feels emotionally safe. Yeah, I said it. That might sound soft to some, but it's real. Men, especially the strong ones, the alpha types, they don't get to be vulnerable often. Society doesn't let them. They walk around wearing armor all day, pretending everything is fine, acting like they're unaffected. But when they meet a woman who creates a space where they can put that armor down without fear, that's powerful. That's rare. And that's unforgettable. When a man feels seen, heard, respected, and not judged, something opens up in him. And when that door opens, so does his desire, because now he doesn't just want to be with you physically. He wants to give you everything, his time, his energy, his heart, and yes, his body. It's a different level of intimacy that starts with emotional connection. It's about feeling understood without having to explain himself 100 times. And when he feels that, his desire for you multiplies in ways you can't imagine. Now let's talk about sensuality, not sexuality, sensuality. There's a difference. A woman who's in tune with her sensual energy, who moves through the world with grace and presence, is incredibly arousing to a man. This isn't about being provocative just to get attention. This is about being embodied, knowing how to enjoy your own skin. A woman who enjoys her own touch, who smiles when she's alone, who walks like she owns her space, speaks with intention, and touches with purpose, that woman doesn't just attract men, she enchants them. And it doesn't matter what she looks like. It's about the vibe. It's the way she crosses her legs. It's the way she runs her fingers through her hair. It's the way she makes eye contact, like she's not afraid to be seen. And when a man sees that, he doesn't just want to sleep with her. He wants to experience her because she's fully alive in her own skin. And that invites him to do the same. And let's not forget the power of admiration and respect. A man craves being admired by the woman he loves. He wants to feel like her hero, even if she doesn't need saving. He wants to feel chosen, appreciated, respected, not just for what he can do, but for who he is. And when a woman genuinely admires a man and lets him feel that through her words, her touch, her tone, that admiration lights a fire in him, Not because she's flattering him, but because she sees his greatness and believes in it. When a man feels that kind of respect from a woman, his desire deepens. He wants to show up for her. He wants to give her more. And the more he gives, the more he craves. History also plays a huge role in keeping a man's sexual desire alive. You give too much too fast, he won't have anything left to explore. But when you keep a little mystery, when you reveal yourself in layers, when you let him discover you over time, that's what keeps his mind running wild. That's what makes him imagine you when you're not there. A man desires what he can't fully have right away. That's not about playing games. It's about pacing. It's about letting the connection build. When a man feels like he's only seen the surface of you and there's still more to learn, more to earn, more to unlock, that keeps his desire fresh. He'll keep coming back, not just for your body, but for the experience of you. At the end of the day, real arousal for a man goes far beyond looks. Yes, he might be attracted to beauty, but desire, the kind that lingers, the kind that consumes him, the kind that stays even after the lights go out, that comes from your confidence, your emotional connection, your sensual presence, your admiration, and the sense that there's always more to uncover about you. That's what gets in his head. That's what makes him ache for you, not just in his body, but in his soul. When it comes to what arouses a man's sexual desire the most, it's easy to assume it starts and ends with physical attraction. But that's just the entry point. It grabs attention, sure, but what holds it, what deepens that desire, what makes it go from a passing thought to a lasting craving, is something more layered, more powerful. A man may be wired to notice what he sees first, but he's compelled by what he feels after. That's the difference between someone who catches his eye and someone who stays in his mind. And the women who understand this, they're the ones who don't chase love, they attract it effortlessly. There's something powerful about a woman who's sure of herself. Not in a loud, boastful way, but in that quiet, unshakable kind of confidence. She knows who she is, what she brings, and she doesn't feel the need to prove it to anybody. That kind of energy is magnetic to a man. When he senses that you're comfortable in your skin, that you don't need constant validation, it intrigues him. You could be in a room full of people and he'll notice the one who's not trying too hard, the one who's just being herself, laughing with ease, not worried about who's watching. That's attractive. That's the kind of presence that doesn't shout, it whispers, and it whispers directly to his instincts. Men are drawn to what they can't easily figure out. When everything is given away in the first moment, there's no pursuit, no anticipation, no curiosity left to satisfy. But when a woman holds something back, not because she's playing games, but because she values herself enough to reveal her layers slowly, it pulls a man in. He begins to feel that desire not just for her body, but for her essence. He starts to think about what makes her tick, what she's passionate about, what she dreams of at night. And that emotional intrigue heightens the sexual one. He's not just lusting anymore. He's imagining. He's building pictures in his mind. That imagination is where deep arousal starts. Men are also incredibly responsive to how a woman makes them feel about themselves. You want to know what arouses a man on a deeper level? Make him feel like a king. Let him feel like you see greatness in him when the world just sees routine. When a woman genuinely admires a man, not blindly, but with sincerity, when she looks at him like he's capable of conquering whatever stands in his way, that ignites something in him. It makes him want to rise to that image she holds of him. It makes him want to protect, to provide, to please, to pursue. He doesn't want to lose that feeling, and that need to be near the person who brings it out in him. That's where desire is born. Because he doesn't just want her body, He wants to be close to the source of that energy. Another thing people don't talk about enough is emotional safety. It might sound unsexy on the surface, but it's one of the most arousing things for a man who's grown, experienced, and truly ready to love. When a man can be his raw self with a woman, flaws, fears, failures, and all, and he feels accepted instead of judged, appreciated instead of fixed, that experience bonds him to her. And that bond isn't just emotional, it's physical too, because now sex isn't just sex. It becomes a space where he can release more than tension. He's releasing his stress, his guard, his pride. And when a man feels emotionally open with a woman, his desire for her becomes something deeper. It's not just physical stimulation anymore. It's soulful connection. That's the kind of desire that sticks, the kind that doesn't fade after the moment is over. And there's sensuality, how a woman carries herself in everyday moments, the way she tilts her head when she's thinking, the way she brushes hair away from her face, the way she sips her drink or looks over her shoulder. These tiny, natural movements, when done with presence and grace, are a language of their own. You don't have to wear the tightest dress in the room or speak the loudest to command attention. Sometimes it's your silence. Sometimes it's your eye contact. Sometimes it's just the way you walk. Sensuality isn't about seduction. It's about being at home in your body, feeling everything, and letting that energy flow without apology. That energy is intoxicating. A man senses it and can't help but be drawn in. What's even more powerful is when a woman isn't afraid to show desire herself. A woman who can look a man in the eyes and let him know without saying a word that she wants him too. That arouses him like nothing else. Not because she's throwing herself at him, but because she's confident enough to express interest. That mutual tension, that back and forth dance of give and take, creates an environment of shared arousal. It's not just about him chasing or her giving. It becomes a powerful exchange of energy. And when that's present, it amplifies everything. The way she touches his arm, the way she speaks his name, the way she responds to his touch. It's all part of the buildup. Men want to feel chosen. Not needed, but chosen. When a woman makes it clear that she could have anyone, but she chooses him, that lights a fire inside him. That awareness that she doesn't have to be there, but she wants to be, that boosts his ego and his desire. It makes him want to prove he deserves her choice. And when he's in that space, everything she does becomes arousing. Her voice, her laughter, her presence, all of it becomes more magnetic. In the end, a man's sexual desire is most deeply aroused not just by what he sees, but by what he feels. He wants to be around a woman who knows her worth, who radiates warmth and presence, who allows him to feel powerful but also safe, admired but also challenged, respected but still teased by the mystery of who she is. It's that mix that keeps his desire burning, not for a moment, but for a lifetime. When people talk about what arouses a man's sexual desire the most, they usually focus on the obvious things: what a woman wears, how she looks, how she moves. And sure, those things might catch his attention for a second, but real, lasting desire, the kind that makes him think about you at night, that makes him want to be around you again and again, that runs a lot deeper. It's not just about looks, it's about how you make him feel. A man's body might respond to appearance, but his soul reacts to energy. His deeper desire is stirred by what a woman gives off without even trying. And the women who understand this truth, they don't chase men, they awaken them. Men are visual, yes, but their minds and emotions play a huge role in how deeply they desire someone. When a man sees a woman who's confident in herself, who isn't performing for approval or seeking attention, it catches him off guard. He's used to people putting on a show, but when a woman is just being real, authentically herself, unshaken by opinions, that stops him. She doesn't need to say she's confident, he can feel it. She walks like she's comfortable with herself. She laughs like she enjoys her own company. She speaks like she has nothing to prove. And that creates a kind of power that can't be faked. When she's in the room, people notice not because she's trying to be seen, but because she's shining from the inside out. That inner glow, that certainty, that calm confidence, that's what pulls a man in and keeps him wanting more. Arousal for a man becomes more intense when he feels emotionally safe around a woman. He may not say this out loud, most men won't, but it's true. When a woman allows him to be open, to be flawed, to not have all the answers and still feel accepted, that stirs something deep inside him. Most men are walking around with emotional armor on. They're expected to be strong, to hold everything together. So when a woman comes along and makes him feel like it's okay to be vulnerable, he doesn't just feel relaxed, he feels connected. And once he's emotionally connected, the physical desire intensifies. Now, he's not just reacting to your body, he's craving your presence. You've reached a level that goes beyond attraction. You've touched the part of him that no one else sees. There's also something incredibly arousing about a woman who owns her sensuality, not just sexually, but in how she carries herself. It's the way she touches her own hand while she's talking, the way she tilts her head when she listens, the way she enjoys her food, or the way she stretches in the morning. These subtle, unconscious movements say so much. A woman who is in tune with her body, who feels pleasure in small things, sends a message without saying a word. I enjoy myself. I enjoy being alive. And that joy, that ease, that physical presence, it's magnetic. A man watching that doesn't just want to look. He wants to experience her. He wants to know what it's like to be part of that energy, to feel what she feels, to be close to that warmth. That's when desire turns from curiosity into obsession. Mystery plays a big role too. A man's desire burns hotter when there's still something left to uncover. When a woman gives him everything too fast, her thoughts, her emotions, her availability, it can be overwhelming. Not because he doesn't like her, but because there's no suspense. There's nothing left to discover. But when she reveals herself in layers, when she gives him just enough to spark curiosity, but holds enough back to keep him wondering, it draws him in. He starts to pay attention. He starts to look deeper. He starts to chase, not because she asked him to, but because she made him want to. And the more he has to uncover, the more his imagination works overtime. That's what fuels long-term desire, a sense that there's always more to learn, more to earn, more to feel. Another factor that awakens a man's desire is being admired. When a woman believes in him, when she encourages him and supports him, not blindly, but genuinely, that activates something powerful. Men want to feel respected, not just loved. They want to feel like they're enough, like they're strong, like they're worthy of being wanted. When a woman looks at him and sees not just who he is, but who he could be, and she reflects that belief in her words, her smile, her presence, that raises his self-worth. It energizes him. It excites him. And it makes him crave her more. Because now his desire isn't just for her body. It's for the feeling she gives him. When a man feels all these things, curiosity, admiration, emotional safety, and sensual energy, his desire becomes unstoppable. He stops thinking with just one part of his body and starts feeling with his whole self. And once that happens, it's not just lust anymore. It's passion, it's craving, it's longing. That's the kind of arousal that doesn't fade when the night is over. It stays in his mind, in his heart, in his soul. Most people think a man's sexual desire is all about what he sees. They believe it's tied to physical appearance, curves, makeup, or how revealing a woman's outfit is. And yes, the physical aspect catches attention. A man might turn his head at a glance, admire a certain look, or react to what's visually in front of him. But that's only the tip of the iceberg. That kind of desire fades as quickly as it comes. Real, deep, lasting sexual desire, the kind that keeps a man hooked, obsessed, and coming back, is born from something much more powerful than physical attraction. It comes from what a woman makes him feel, what she awakens inside of him, and how her energy interacts with his soul. A man can be surrounded by beauty and still feel bored. But when a woman brings energy that sparks something in his spirit, he becomes alive in her presence. It's her essence, her confidence, her ability to command attention without trying. It's the calm certainty in her voice, the way she carries herself without apology, the way she moves through a room with purpose and ease. That kind of presence is unforgettable. He might meet other women, but he won't be able to stop thinking about her because what she gave him wasn't just something to look at. It was something to feel. That emotional stimulation creates mental arousal, and mental arousal is what leads to the most intense physical craving. The kind of woman who triggers that level of desire doesn't chase, she doesn't overgive, and she doesn't try to convince anyone of her worth. She knows it already. That confidence is deeply attractive to a man because it tells him that she's not desperate for attention. She's selective. She chooses who she gives her energy to, and that makes him want to be chosen by her. When he realizes she's not like everyone else, when he sees that she values herself and protects her peace, his desire grows. It becomes about more than just wanting her body. He wants her time, her smile, her approval. He wants to impress her. And when a man wants to impress a woman, that's when he starts stepping up. He becomes more intentional, more present, and more devoted. What really stirs desire is when a man feels emotionally connected. He may not admit it out loud, but the truth is he longs for a space where he can drop his guard. Every day he wears a mask for the world. He's expected to be tough, in control, and unaffected. But underneath that exterior is someone who's tired, who has doubts, who craves comfort and understanding. And when a woman provides that safe space where he can be himself without fear of judgment, where he can talk about his past, his insecurities, and still be held with respect, something powerful happens. That emotional intimacy opens the door for physical intimacy in a much more profound way. He doesn't just want her for a moment. He wants to melt into her, to be wrapped in the safety she gives. That level of connection heightens every touch, every kiss, every moment of intimacy. There's also something electric about a woman who is in tune with her sensuality. This isn't about trying to seduce through outfits or words. It's about a natural, effortless embodiment of her feminine energy. A woman who feels good in her body, who enjoys her own skin, who embraces her softness and strength, becomes irresistible. Men are drawn to that energy like moths to a flame. It's the way she moves, not to get attention, but because she's present with herself. It's the way she enjoys small pleasures, like the warmth of sunlight, the rhythm of music, or the way she runs her fingers along the edge of a glass. Those little details, when genuine, are more arousing than anything artificial. They speak to a deep level of desire, the kind that builds slowly, steadily, until it becomes overwhelming. And then there's admiration. When a woman genuinely admires a man, not because she needs him to complete her, but because she sees greatness in him, that activates his masculine core. Men want to feel strong, wanted, and respected, not just desired physically, but valued emotionally. When a man feels like a woman believes in him, when he feels like she sees potential in him that even he struggles to see, that's deeply arousing. It makes him want to protect her, please her, and connect with her. That desire isn't shallow. It comes from a place of pride, of purpose. It makes him feel worthy. And when a woman can do that with her presence, her words, her touch, that's unforgettable. What keeps desire alive in a man is the combination of mystery and depth. He doesn't want to figure you out in one night. He wants layers. He wants the journey of uncovering who you are piece by piece. That slow reveal keeps him intrigued. And when each layer is more powerful than the last, when he finds strength behind your softness, grace behind your confidence, wisdom behind your silence, he doesn't just want you. He needs you, not in a desperate way, but in a soul level kind of way. That's what arouses a man the most, the complete experience of a woman, not just her body, but her energy, her mind, her heart, her mystery. That's the kind of desire that doesn't fade. That's the kind of desire that lingers in his mind long after the lights go out.